Dawn had broken an hour ago, but the fog sat thick across the Java Sea, turning us into a ghost ship adrift in gray nothing.
The ship's manifest listed a Japanese cruiser, the Takao Maru. What it hadn't mentioned were the rumors.
Hull breach located. Forward section, port side. Going in.
Confirmed. I'm mobilizing the repair team now.
Copy.
Conditions?
Visibility 4 meters. Current negligible. The ship's at a 30-degree list. She's been here a long time.
Waiting created its own pressure. The ocean granted nothing freely. Every recovery was a negotiation.
The corridor was a fever dream preserved. Bulkheads retained paint beneath 82 years of deep-sea life.
And at the end stood a steel door. Whatever lay behind it had been locked away from the ocean all this time. "20 minutes. 30. The torch carved through history with the patience of the deep sea itself. The door came away reluctantly, then tumbled into the corridor in a cloud of memory.
The camera pushed forward into the strong room. Racks lined the walls. But
Jesus.
Reeves moved the submersible closer. The mechanical arms extended, reaching for a piece of 1942.
Bringing it out, we'll secure it to the lift basket and send it up.
The recovery process began. Trip after trip into the strong room, extracting crates one by one from their iron grave.
The connection points were triple-checked. At these depths, a single failure meant the loss of everything.
Basket secure. Ready for retrieval.
Martinez gave the signal. The winch engaged with a growl felt more than heard. The ascent began.
3,000 meters. The number became a physical thing, a weight that pressed against thought.
The basket climbed through zones of perpetual night, past creatures built from gossamer, unaware of the intrusion. The cable thrummed with tension, a guitar string stretched across an impossible distance. The ocean tested its claim.
Final 100 meters. Slow retrieval.
The basket had entered the final 100 meters, rising through invisible boundaries in the water.
Bring it left, easy now. Watch the swing. Hold it steady, drop it down.
Only when everything was locked down did Martinez approach for his first real look. The crates were smaller than expected, each one black with age and cloaked in the life of the abyss.
The work ahead would require specialists, conservators who understood how to coax secrets from the deep.
Reeves and Kowalski made 4 trips, each following the same pattern. Locate, extract, load, and send up. A ritual of recovery. The submersible came up last. 14 hours in a titanium sphere, breathing recycled air, working in the cold crush of the abyss.
The preservation work began the next morning. The real excavation, the careful unveiling, could now start.
She worked with the patience of the deep sea itself, removing the larger pieces of marine growth, exposing history inch by inch. An hour passed. 2. The crate's surface emerged, revealing carpentry joints that had been precision work in 1942. Each nail was bagged and labeled. Each step was recorded. This was archaeology, not salvage.
The lid came free. Inside, wrapped in what had once been oilcloth, were documents. Hundreds of pages.
The paper was no longer paper. It was a fragile amalgam of fiber, salt, and time. A puzzle of pulp.
She mixed a solution to stabilize the fibers. It would take weeks to process a single bundle, months for the entire crate.
Martinez watched for a while. The work was monotonous and exacting, but rushing would destroy more than it revealed. By evening, 5 crates had been opened. Documents, photographic negatives, and something wrapped in layers of protective silk. Text emerged. Japanese characters, handwritten in ink that had survived better than anyone had a right to expect.
The penmanship was excellent, each character formed with care. Official documents from a world at war.
Maps on fabric, small metal objects, jewelry that might have been personal effects or loot from conquered territories.
And then Williams opened the crate they'd marked as number 17. The protective wrapping was more elaborate than any other.
What lay at the center was a sword, not a military weapon. This was something else entirely. They stood looking at an object placed in the strong room for reasons they could only guess it. A treasure, a gift, or plunder. The ocean had kept it safe, locked it away from the world that had destroyed the ship carrying it. Now it had returned.
The sword remained in its scabbard. Drawing the blade would require specialists in Japanese metalwork.
This is an inventory. It lists items being transported, cultural artifacts, pieces removed from museums.
Several swords are mentioned, but nothing with a specific description. We would never know for certain.
A week after the first basket surfaced, the ship prepared to return to port. The ocean was calm, almost glassy. The Takao Maru, her strong room now emptied, her corridors still full of darkness. The ocean would continue its work of transformation. The ship began to move, turning toward land, toward laboratories and museums, and the slow process of study. I remained on deck until the wreck site disappeared into the general anonymity of the ocean.
The ocean kept most of its secrets. This time, it had surrendered a few. My job was to document them.
I
documented the strain on the cable, the weight of expectation, the precise language of winches and pressure.
Below decks, the crates rested. Their journey from the abyss was over, but their stories were only beginning to surface.
In the red glow of the dark room, faces from 1942 began to appear. Young men.
The letters were personal. Hopes, fears, mundane details from a world.
The sword was the centerpiece. An artifact of such beauty. Its purpose here, on a war.
We sailed through the night, guardians of fragments. The ocean behind us held the empty grave. Ahead lay the world of the living.
Odyssey Explorer to Port Authority. ETA 1400 hours. Cargo secured.
The return to port was always a transition, from the solitary struggle with the sea to the collaborative scrutiny of land.
The sword went last, its ornate scabbard hidden within plain wood. Its next home.
I signed the papers. My part of the journey was over. Theirs, the years of analysis, debate, and discovery.
The deck felt strangely vacant. The tension that had hummed for days was gone, leaving a hollow sort of quiet.
In the laboratory, technology took over. Non-invasive scans would map the sword's structure before a single clasp was undone.
The first revelations came from beneath the surface. The maker's mark, hidden for centuries, was now a digital ghost on a screen.
Mother, the weather here is warm, but I miss the spring chill of Sendai. Are the blossoms yet in bloom?
The world didn't know yet. The discovery was a quiet fact, known only to a few.
For now.
They explained the crystalline structure of the steel, the folding techniques. I listened, but I saw only the dark corridor where it was found.
Will you draw it? Not yet. The handle is still fused. The time isn't right.
Lấy thông tin từ hãng, làm việc với hãng, lên kế hoạch truyền thông và tổ chức thực hiện ủy quyền.
The discovery sent ripples through many worlds. Academia, governments, descendants of the lost, the curious public.
Its origin was listed as unknown. The ocean had given up the object, but it kept the story of why it was on that ship a mystery.
I stood there, the only visitor. Before me was the beautiful artifact. Beside it,
Every object in a museum is a fragment, a piece of a story we can never fully reconstruct. We only curate the questions.
The noise of the city was a shock. For weeks after a dive, the deep quiet of the abyss echoed inside me.
The ocean always has another secret, another grave, another story waiting in the dark. The call to go back was inevitable.
Send me the coordinates.
I said yes. My job wasn't to dwell on the mysteries we solved, but to go and find the next one. The deck vibrated beneath my boots once more. The winch screamed again.
You carry the old dives with you. They live in the quiet moments.
The ocean is vast. It keeps most of its secrets. Our job is to act.
Each new target is a promise and a gamble.
A new dive, a new darkness. The team was the same, the machine was the same. Only the coordinates had changed.
The descent is always a crossing into another world. A world of pressure, silence, and slow, patient time.
The seafloor was a blank page. The promising shadow on the sonar had dissolved into the featureless. We're on target. No visual contact. Expanding search pattern. The first lesson of the deep. Nothing is where you expect it. 70% of dives found nothing. Broken crates, scattered ore, geological formations mistaken for wrecks. Hope was a calculated variable.
Then, fragments. A piece of railing, a broken plate. The wreck wasn't intact.
We found the heart of the ship first, the massive steam boiler, a tombstone for the engineering that had failed it. This was not a Takao Maru. This was a scattering of bones. Our mission shifted from recovery to documentation.
We documented the small things. A Singer plate, a tool, the personal,
The true owners of these graves visited us. Creatures of permanent night, living their lives among our forgotten ruins. We took one piece, not for profit, but for proof, to put a name to the wreck, to attach a story to the sonar shadow.
My report was brief, another page in the ledger of the lost. Not every dive rewrites history. Most simply confirm it.
That moment of revelation, the door giving way, the darkness beyond promising something. That is the addiction.
Plausible.
They had their theories. Plausible. Possible. The words historians use when the truth is at the bottom of the sea.
The time on land was for repair, for remembering how to live without the constant hum of a ship's engine, the tension of a cable.
The callways come.
The sea would wait. It had waited for the Takomaru for 82 years. It could wait a few more weeks for me.
I relearned the rhythms of land, the slow growth of plants, the predictable turn of day.
Questions were different. The tools were the same. The dark was the same. I began preparing for the dive.
I said a silent farewell to the old mystery. It belonged to the world now. My job was to go and find a new one.
The cycle began anew. The team gathered. The machine was serviced. The coordinates were plugged into the navigation system.
Every ship has its own personality, its own ghosts. This one smelled of diesel, old wood, and 100 previous voyages.
The Roman wreck was a silhouette of elegance compared to the broken steel of modern ships. A wooden skeleton held together by belief.
Our tools evolved. For wooden wreck, less cutting, more gentle extraction. The goal was preservation, not just recovery.
The Mediterranean light followed us down, a pale blue blessing. This was not the crushing dark of the...
There she was. Not a ship, but its cargo. The wood was gone.
Each jar had carried wine or oil across an ancient sea.
Now they were monuments.
It held. 2,000 years, and it held. We were the first to move it since the day the galley slipped beneath the waves.
We worked slowly, selectively, taking samples, not hordes. Each jar would tell a story of trade routes.
On deck, the past was wet and cool to the touch. It smelled of mud and salt, not...
Life had moved in. The wreck was no longer a grave, but a reef. A new chapter for the ancient cargo had begun. Another signature, another transfer. The objects entered the stream of academia. We turned back to the sea, already empty-handed. The network was always buzzing. Shadows and whispers passed from ship to ship. The map of the unknown was constantly being redrawn.
The sea had taken its payment in joints and quiet moments of tinnitus.
They were heavy for their size, dense with compressed time, like holding a piece of a very old, very patient clock.
The iron grave gave up its sword. The ocean kept its deepest self.